So I think knowledge is what we have interrogated, worked through, been open to criticism about, and finally feel confident about. It's the product of a process of inquiry in a context where authority comes from the veracity or truth of what one's inquiring about, and not from status or hierarchy or any artificial structure like that. So I feel uncomfortable saying what I know. I can tell you what I think I know now. And what I know now, for example, about the nature of corruption in American government, is that we've structured the way in which we elect Congress such that members of Congress are no longer dependent upon the people, the way the framers of our Constitution intended them to be, but instead are increasingly dependent upon funders. And what that means is that they are distorted in the work that they do, in the issues they pay attention to, in the actual decisions they make in Congress. And that distortion is transparent. People understand it to be a function of the money. And that transparent distortion leads people to be more and more cynical or have less and less confidence in our government. So our current Congress has a confidence rating of 12%, according to Gallup poll. That's about as low as one could get for an institution. And I think it's tied, I believe it's tied, I think I know it's tied directly to the way in which we structure funding of these elections. So I got into this field of thinking about this kind of institutional corruption or dependency corruption because for many years I'd been working in the field of copyright and intellectual property as it relates to digital technologies. And earnestly for many years, with many other people, advancing substantive arguments about how the law needed to be changed. And in contexts like business contexts or an academic context or among parents, these arguments were having effect. They were slowly moving the debate forward so that attitudes around these issues are pretty substantially different today from where they were a decade ago, not just because of these arguments, but because people come to understand the issue much more effectively. But what was striking to me about 3 years ago was that there was no shift among policymakers. It was as if policymakers didn't even hear the arguments. And I recognized there was a certain deep naivete in the idea that we address these issues by writing books. I wrote 5 books to try to advance this understanding. And instead recognized that there was no understanding among policymakers because of the enormous and disparate effect of money inside of the political system on this issue. So I would meet with congressmen who didn't even know there was another side to the issue because they'd never heard another side because the other side, the public domain, had no lobbyist to go in and present the issue. So it was clear until we dealt with this more fundamental issue, we weren't going to make progress in copyright. And not just in esoteric areas like copyright legislation, but you can pick any important area of public policy, whether it be global warming, healthcare, food safety, the tax system, the size of government. All of them are tied intimately to this problem of money in politics. So I guess I'd like to know how one teaches this idea to a wide range of Americans. I think one of the deepest challenges is that the very terms of the debate force some people to turn away from the substance of what is being argued. So if we need as a nation, if we need to save this republic by restoring something of the integrity to this institution, I would like to know how one talks to the American people such that one can convince them of this and motivate them to actually take the steps necessary to save the republic that I think we right now have lost.